Hey everyone, have you ever found yourself frustrated with the constant stress and the time demands of trading stocks or futures? Or maybe you want to actively trade your accounts because you just enjoy the satisfaction that being in control of your investment brings, but you still feel overwhelmed trying to balance it with a full-time job and still having a personal life. Having time to go on a hike, enjoy your hobbies, having quality time with friends or family. Trust me, you're not alone. Many traders that I've known, they face these same challenges, and I was definitely included as one of them. That's why I wanted to just spend a few minutes in this video and just talk about my journey navigating through all sorts of trading methodologies over the past 30 years and why, for me, I found trading options to be the game changer for preserving my work-life balance, reducing the anxiety that I used to feel as an active trader, but still enjoying the benefits of actively managing my own investments. So here in this video, I'll share why I believe options trading has been the perfect answer for me to achieve that balance. We'll talk about what a good work-life balance looks like, my past experiences with other forms of trading, good and bad, and why options, I believe, offers such a stress-free way to trade. So let's get started, see how you can trade wisely, live fully with options trading. Hi everyone, it's Dan here, your joyful trader, full-time surgical nurse, active trader and investor, side hustle connoisseur, and former CEO of my own software company for 22 years. So if you're interested in ways to grow your portfolio, achieve higher returns, understand option trading better, and just get ideas about developing side hustles that you can create while you hold down a full-time job, well, you're in the right place. I've been involved in all of the above for 30 years, and I've learned a lot of life's lessons along the way, and I'm passionate about talking about what I've learned during that time. So make sure to hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so that you never miss an update. Let's talk further. Now, you might have seen our channel's subtitle, Trade Wisely, Live Fully. You know, that's not just a catchy phrase. It's a philosophy that I live by, and I carefully chose that to represent the mantra of what I wanted this channel to embody. Balancing work, family, hobbies, personal time, those can all be real challenges on their own, but especially so if you're also trying to actively manage your own investments through trading of some form. Now, all of these things can definitely be fun, definitely be rewarding individually, but when they get piled on so deep, sometimes it's easy to get way out of balance and lose the joy that comes with just living our lives from day to day. I'm here to not only talk about the concepts of details about trading and investing and all that goes with that, but also the more important aspects of how to do it, reap the rewards, and still come away feeling like you have time to breathe and enjoy your life. All right, so let's start by talking about what a good work-life balance actually means. I mean, it's a term that gets thrown around a lot, but it's really important, I think, to understand what it looks like in practice. And I'll start by saying that a good work-life balance doesn't necessarily fall into a single black and white definition. A work-life balance model that works for me is very likely not the same one that will work for you. But I think there are certain elements that are contained within a work-life balance that should be present in your life in order to constitute that you are living that particular balance. So I can tell you that I know what it's like to be on the wrong side of a bad work-life balance. I started a small boutique software company back in 1992, and without really knowing what I was doing, it grew legs and evolved into something bigger than I thought it could. And for a small business, it did well for me and my family at that time. It was no Microsoft or anything like that, but we did some really cool things. We worked with some really cool clients and did some cutting edge things. And for a small team, I felt really proud of what we did. But the bigger problems came along around 10 years later when we were sort of running at full steam. And I was working so hard all the time with my small team developing apps for clients in all kinds of time zones around the world. I had no idea if it was Wednesday, Friday, or Monday. I was so focused on meeting deadlines and and working in the same office cubicle that one day looked just like the next. And even back then, nearly all of my team members were working remote. And so we communicated throughout the day via Skype, AOL Messenger. And so for me, it really lacked that feeling of camaraderie that, sort of comes when you're all working together in the same space, trying to be creative, especially like on a Friday, if at the end of the week, everyone wants to just go out for a beer. That didn't exist for me. And so the working remote is definitely cool and has its upsides, but that feeling of camaraderie, that feeling of family that comes from just all working together just wasn't present. And it was something that intra-office socialization was something that was really lacking, and I really missed that. But at the same time, I was really busy trying to figure out how to trade stocks, futures, Forex, commodities, and whatever else there was out there, because I was just really fascinated with being able to make money with my brain in this way. This was, the mid to late 90s, and, online brokerages were just starting to really come on. And so the ability to place trades right through my computer that went straight to the floor and were executed, that was kind of new, and it was super exciting because it gave everyone now an opportunity to just sort of trade. But the problem was there was no real outlet to learn about what trading really meant. And so for me, a lot of it was just shooting from the hip and more or less gambling. Every waking moment I had was wrapped up in either working on projects for my company and my clients to trying to learn how to trade and failing most of the time on the latter, but definitely not giving my best on the former because my brain was in other areas. At the time, I also had a family, and I felt like I barely had any time to be involved with them, even though I worked at home most of the time. It seemed like I didn't see them much, and I have myself to blame for that, really. So after 22 years, I'd come to the reality that I was falling into sort of a depression due to lack of social interaction, lack of personal downtime, feeling of failing important people. And I feel like I was just missing the enjoyment that I was supposed to be having by sort of doing my own thing, being my own boss and living that dream, right? But instead, I felt like I had an anchor around my neck that I had created myself and put it there, and I had nobody else to blame for that. It was just sort of pulling me down. So I made the decision to step away from all of that, take some time off, and evaluate or reevaluate what was really important to me going forward, how I wanted to see myself living in the future, and how I was going to go and find peace and solitude, yet feel still fulfilled in having a career, trading and investing, and having more recreation in my life. Work-life balance at that time just stopped being a buzzword, and instead it really started becoming a pursuit. So for me, a good work-life balance is now all about making sure that I have enough time and enough energy for the things that matter the most to me. Things that feed my soul, from playing guitar, recording music, still working on app development, which I love to do. I love the process of writing code and creating design elements for the interface. All of that, I still do it. I am still actively involved in trading the markets, but I love travel. I love food. I love being outdoors, and I love exercising. And so it means balancing my job, my day job as a surgical nurse, my family and friends, my hobbies, my personal health, all these things. So it's not about working less or doing less, but really for me, it was about finding routines and various patterns that would allow me to manage my time effectively. And so I needed to pattern out and schedule out all of these things, both recreational and professional. And then there's stress management. I mean, let's face it, actively trading your investments can be stressful. Super rewarding, even fun, yes, but still stressful. But a good work-life balance involves finding ways to manage that stress so that it doesn't take over your life and it doesn't affect you physically. For me, that includes regular exercise, like running 5Ks, and finding the time to unwind, whether it's reading a book, watching a good movie, listening to great music, meditating, connecting with friends, just taking a walk, or sitting in the park. Another crucial component is health and well-being. Physical and mental health are the foundation of a good balanced life. Eating healthy, making good lifestyle choices to minimize risk factors for developing chronic disease, staying active, getting enough sleep, those are all non-negotiables for me. Because when I'm healthy, I feel like I'm more productive. I feel happier. I feel like I'm better equipped to handle the demands of both work and personal life. I feel more mentally acute. Therefore, I can make better trading and investment decisions. And finally, there's financial stability. This doesn't mean that you have to be rich. And I know that sounds trite, and so many rich people say that. And it's like, you don't need to be rich. Yeah, but you're pretty wealthy. So it's pretty easy to say. I'm not one of those people, by the way, but rather you're managing your finances in a way that reduces anxiety. And it just allows you to enjoy the life you live. When you feel like you're in control of your finances, I think it brings about an inner peace and calm that can help us to just simply enjoy our downtime better without having to constantly be worrying about it. I mean, this is where smart investing comes into play. And by trading wisely and developing a passive side hustle or two, you can create a stream of income that really supports those goals and helps to bring down that stress level. So a good work-life balance really is about harmonizing all of these aspects: the time management piece, stress management, health, and financial stability. It's about setting yourself up for success in all areas of life, not just at work or in trading. And I believe options trading can be a powerful tool to help achieve this balance if you want to pursue actively trading your investments. So let me talk about my past experiences with different trading instruments and how they compare to options trading with what I know now. Like I said, I've traded a bit of everything over 30 years: stocks, futures, Forex, crypto, you name it. And while each of these has its own merits, they also brought on a lot of stress and anxiety to me that I just don't get with options trading at all. First up, stocks. That caught my eye in 1996, 1997, and it was sort of the beginning of the dot-com bubble a little bit early on, but it seemed like nothing could go wrong. You could throw a dart at the wall at a chart of stocks and find a winner, and I just wanted to be a part of that. Trading stocks can be incredibly rewarding, but it often requires constant monitoring and also can require significant funding, especially if you want to day trade or if you want to short the market. You're going to need, a minimum amount of funds in there for these kind of activities based on your brokerage, usually at least $25,000, maybe $35,000 or $50,000 to really have the flexibility to be nimble. The market moves really fast. And if you're not paying attention throughout the day, you can miss a crucial buying or selling opportunity. I remember countless nights, staying up late, glued to my screen, worried about how a stock is going to perform the next day when the market opens. It became mentally exhausting, and it really interfered with me getting a good night's sleep. And then there's futures trading. When I discovered futures, one of the first things I really loved about it is that I could short the market as easily as I could go long the market. So even in the space of the same 15 minutes, I could be long and then I can turn right around with a button click and go short, and I could go back and forth. And I didn't need to have all of this day trading margin and capital available. Futures made it possible because of the kind of instrument that it is, that I could bounce up and down both ways. I thought, this is great. I could be flexible and take advantage of both sides of the coin. Looked like it could offer really great returns, but they're also really demanding and really time sensitive. The leverage involved means that while you can make a lot of money, you can also lose a lot of money, and you can do both very quickly. So the need to monitor your positions were constant, and the high stakes involved made it a super stressful experience for me. And I did that for a couple of years, trying to give myself the time to really master it. I can tell you, things move really fast. There's been times where I go to the bathroom or I go to refill my coffee, and I was up or down thousands of dollars just like that. A blip on the news could send the market up or down almost immediately. And so it just was so fast and so whippy. It didn't bring me any peace. I was constantly having anxiety about what was happening, especially when I was in a trade, because things could just turn on me. Things look great, but they could just turn on me really fast. Not to mention the stress of making darn sure that I had closed all of my futures positions by the market close, because leaving any futures positions open overnight could expose me to huge losses at the start of the next market day if the market gapped down. I loved that I could easily go long or short again with the market, a click of a button, but it just all moved so fast that it didn't really give me a sense of peace and relaxation. If I wasn't in a trade, my eyes were glued to the screen looking for trade opportunities. And yes, you can develop algorithms that would trade for you based on a set of conditions occurring. And yes, you can go out and buy for $99 a set of strategies that would make you a millionaire overnight. But you and I both know that none of those things exist in the real world, because if they really did work, then of course everyone would be using them. And because everyone would be using them, the system would break. So I came along and started moving into Forex trading, which is kind of another beast altogether. My main attraction to Forex initially was the fact that it was open 24 hours a day, which sounded great because I could then trade it later at night or early in the morning or in kind of weird hours. But then I realized what that means is that there's no real downtime. That little voice is always calling for me, hey, come and look at the screen and maybe execute a trade. But also the reality of trading the Forex market was that there was a lot of times where there was simply no volume. Even though it traded around the clock, there was a lot of chunks of time where nobody was trading. Even though the market was open, there was just no volume. And so it created these really large gaps between bid and ask. And so there was no point in trading it. I mean, there's no point in trading anything if there's nobody on the other side to buy and sell. And so that didn't make sense. So it was still kind of largely confined to major market hours. And so it didn't give me the 24-hour flexibility that I thought it would. And again, it could be very fast and whippy. The market can be really volatile and unpredictable. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night, to check on trades because maybe something happened in a different time zone that impacted my positions, some military action or whatever that would radically affect, how the Forex is traded. And all of a sudden, everything just changes on a turn of a dime. So it was just a relentless cycle. And I just didn't find that for me, it offered a level of freedom and peace of mind that I was really looking for. Now, don't get me wrong. I know some people they thrive on this kind of high intensity trading, and that's cool. I understand that. Everyone is different. Everyone is unique. I was looking for solutions that worked for me, and that was just too much. Futures and Forex was just too much, too exhausting. I wanted to actively manage my portfolio, but I just didn't want the constant stress and the time demands that I needed to have in order to use these other tools. And so that's kind of when I discovered option trading. I'd heard of options for years, and I kind of peeked into them every now and then. And what I learned about initially were just so confusing that I would just say, forget it. I'll pursue that later, or I'm not going to pursue it at all. It just seems in a whole different world of confusion that I'll just never be able to wrap my head around it. But as I finally did, options I found offered me a level of flexibility and control that I just couldn't find with stocks, futures, Forex, crypto, whatever. Options allow me to create strategies that fit my risk tolerance and my time constraints. It makes it much easier to balance trading with my full-time job, with the things that I like to do in my personal life. And with that, I'm going to refill my coffee real quick. I'll be right back. Hey, if you like this kind of video where we talk about stocks, options, trading, we get into the weeds and details of a lot of this stuff, talk about ways that we can integrate managing our own portfolios, trading, and still, hold down full-time jobs and commitments. That's what the Joyful Trader is all about. We are here to talk about how to do all of that, how to grow our portfolios, how to be financially successful, and yet also maintain the full-time commitments that we have in our life right now until such a time comes that we don't need to. And thanks for taking a minute to be here. We'll talk to you in a second. All right, got my coffee back, got my new Beatles mug. I don't know if you see that or not. I was just in Vegas a couple of weeks ago and caught one of the last performances of Beatles Love over there at the Mirage. I'd never seen it, and me being just an amazing Beatles fan, I had to go see it before it sadly shuts down, or I think it's shut down already. Anyway, I saw this mug there. It's one of my favorite albums, was able to get it. And now when I have my coffee during the day, I have it in this mug, and it just makes me feel happy. And really, that's part of work-life balance. Little things like that bring us joy. All right, so why is it I believe that options trading is not only stress-free, but also perfectly suited for those of us juggling our full-time schedules? Well, one of the biggest advantages of options trading is the flexibility that it offers. Unlike all these other forms of trading that I talked about that require you to be glued to your screen all day, option trading allows you to set up your trades well in advance. You can create strategies that align with your schedule so you don't have to constantly monitor the market all the time. And for me, this is a game changer. If you have a busy job or other commitments, this fits so well into that. So a big key benefit is risk management. With options, you have a variety of strategies at your disposal to manage risk effectively. For instance, you can use options to hedge your existing stock positions. You can provide a safety net against market downturns. This kind of control over your risk is really something that you just don't get easily with stocks, futures, or Forex, especially with crypto. And this versatility means that you're not boxed into a corner needing to predict one specific outcome. It's like having a toolkit that works in various market conditions, giving you a much better chance of success and a whole lot less stress. Then there's the predictability and statistics of probability of profit. This is one of the things I really love, and that is that options allow you to define your potential losses and your gains up front. So when you enter a trade, you know exactly what your maximum risk is going to be, and you have an idea of what your rewards are going to be. And so this information and this predictability helps to reduce the stress and anxiety that comes with not knowing how much you could potentially lose. It's a structured approach that gives you a lot of peace of mind. And I can tell you that a lot of traders that I have worked with over the years that were involved in futures and stocks and other forms of trading, they would enter their trades and they really had no idea what their end results were going to be. If they were going to profit, how much? If they were going to take a loss, how much? And as much as they would talk about trying to maintain some sort of discipline about it, I found very few people were very good at doing that. And the anxiety then that came along with watching your losing trade go deeper into the red and just not having the willpower and the strength to cut trade off, or watching your trade run into the green, but greed overtakes you and you just let it go farther. All of that just created so much stress. And I've personally lived it, and I've seen so many people that do this. With options, I love the fact that I pretty much know exactly what's going to happen either way when the trade is done. And I can tell you personally that knowing that, I can go to bed and sleep great because I'm happy to accept either outcome because I've structured the trade to be acceptable. Another great aspect of options trading is the ability to generate passive income. So by selling options, you can earn premium income that adds to your overall returns without requiring constant market monitoring. For example, selling covered calls on stocks that you already own can provide a steady income stream, especially if you're owning stocks that just aren't doing anything. They're not moving anywhere, So this is a way that you can actually squeeze income out of stocks that just aren't performing. Selling puts on stocks that I want to eventually own does the same thing. It allows me to buy stocks at a discount that I want to own already. And this strategy is perfect for those that want to trade actively, but they don't have a lot of time to watch the market all day. In fact, I'm going to link to a video here that I made that talks about how to create income by just getting paid to wait for stocks to come down in price so you can buy them cheaper. And here's something that had a big light bulb moment for me when I really looked at it. When you're trading stocks, futures, etc., you have three outcomes that could potentially happen. One, the stock goes up. Two, the stock goes down. Or three, the stock doesn't do anything. It just languishes there and sits there and does nothing. So when you trade stocks, you've got to pick the right stock and you've got to pick the right direction. They're unidirectional, so you've got to be right. You've got to, out of the three different things that can happen to a stock's price, you only have a 33% chance of being right. Will it go up? Will it go down? Or will it do nothing? And one of the things I absolutely love about options trading is that it gives you the flexibility to be profitable in 2 out of 3 of those situations. If the stock price goes nowhere, you can be profitable. If the stock price goes up, you can be profitable. If both of those things happen at the same time, you can be profitable. If it goes down and goes nowhere, you can be profitable. In fact, I used to have a trading mentor who taught me about options, would say with stocks and other things like that, you have to be right. With options, you don't have to be right. You just don't have to be that wrong. And that blew my mind. I'm like, wow, oh, I like that. So again, with options, you can set up strategies that allow you to be profitable in multiple scenarios. And if I can be profitable in 2 out of 3 instances, well, I've already at 66% odds of profitability. Profitability being defined as simply not losing. It can be $1 or it can be $500. But the fact is, I'm not going to lose. And when I have that kind of advantage already coming out of the gate, is a no-brainer for me. And options trading can be tailored to fit your lifestyle. Whether you prefer really short-term trades, that might be, 1 day or a week, or long-term strategies that could last weeks and months and potentially even longer. Options gives you the flexibility to choose what works best for you. This adaptability makes it possible to balance your trading activities around your full-time job or other commitments, and you still have time for your hobbies and your personal well-being. For example, I set most of my option trades to work within a 20 or 30-day time period, maybe 45 days, so I can relax a little bit about having to watch the market every day. I don't have to peek in on it minute by minute. I know what the potential outcomes of my trades are going to be. I've worked them out. I'm happy with either one. And so therefore, I don't have to monitor things minute by minute. When I began trading options, there was no situation that required me to stop everything that I was doing and jump onto my broker and kill the trade or execute the trade. There was nothing that required me to do that. Instead, I put the trade on and I glance at the market maybe once a day. I don't have to fret about those kind of situations because the statistics of how I've chosen the trades, they give me comfort because I know there's a very high probability that I'm going to be profitable. And in the event that I'm not going to be profitable, I know what the potential downside is, and I accept that. I've worked it into my plan. So no stress either way. So in this next segment, let's talk about how options trading can satisfy that urge to actively manage your portfolio without the stress and time demands that other trading instruments will bring. So I can tell you that the enjoyment of actively managing your portfolio is such a thrill. It's something I love to do. And when I'm making strategic trades and I'm seeing my plans come to fruition, it provides such a feeling of satisfaction. But it's not like that rush that one might get by going to the casino and pulling a slot machine. It's very well thought out and it just feels very satisfying. It's an enjoyable activity. The constant stress and time demands of those other forms of trading, they're just overwhelming. They were for me. And they just drained all of that enjoyment away. I had days where I made really big money, but then I'm immediately fretting about tomorrow and the potential of me giving it all back. It just felt so erratic and it just felt like a big casino. But options satisfies my urge to actively manage my own portfolios without any of that kind of stress. And again, like I've said, with options, you can create strategies that benefit from market movements that, go up, down, don't go anywhere. They can be slight movements. You can work strategies that deal with high volatility, low volatility. There's so many things you can do with options. The name fits it perfectly. You have options. And like I mentioned, one strategy I love is selling puts for passive income or selling covered calls to squeeze extra income out of stocks that I already own. Options trading is just like a toolkit that's full of versatile instruments that you can use in so many different ways. Whether you want to hedge risk, speculate on market movements, generate income, there's a strategy for you to be found within the options toolkit. It's a perfect way for those of us who enjoy the process of trading, enjoy staying plugged into the markets, but we also have a busy schedule and this fits right in with that. Now let me bring this all together and talk a little bit about the essence of our philosophy here at The Joyful Trader. Trade wisely, live fully. This phrase isn't just a tagline, it's a guiding principle that shapes how I approach trading, how I approach my life, and sets the tone for why this channel exists. All right, so wise trading means making informed strategic decisions. It's about understanding the tools and the strategies that are available to you and being able to use them to your advantage. With options trading, you have the flexibility to tailor your trades to fit your risk tolerance and your lifestyle. This allows you to make smarter and more calculated decisions, reducing stress risks and increasing your chances of success. It's not about taking reckless risks. It's about leveraging your knowledge to make thoughtful trades. I personally kind of find it sad that the fad and trend du jour these last few years is the way people just YOLO their entire investment portfolio on one stock in the style of Wall Street bets. And they just throw everything in there and then brag about the rare times that people hit it big, but also celebrate the times that people lose it all and say, well, you're one of us now. I've known a lot of friends. I talked to various people at work that do that. They're like, hey, did you hear about this one particular stock? I'm going all in on it. They're talking about it on Wall Street bets and I'm just all in. What's your rationale for getting into that trade? Why are you doing that? Why are you putting all your money into that? And they're like, I don't know. It's just, they're talking about it. It sounds pretty hot. And, I'll just write it up kind of a thing. There's no difference between doing that and just walking cold into a casino and taking all your money and just dropping it on black. And I'm sad because a lot of these people just don't know what they're doing, or they suck in a lot of naive people that want to get involved in trading and think this is the only way to do it. It's just, I don't know. It's just really sad to me. So trading wisely means you have a reason for doing what you're doing. You can look back at your trades and you can say, this is why I took that trade. There's a reason for it because X, Y, Z, not simply because, well, I don't know, it's the fad, it's a meme stock. This thing's going to fly, right? That's not a reason. You're not going to win that way. The rare times that people do win, statistically, those are called outliers. And it's virtually impossible for them to be consistent at doing that. People will win big, but I can tell you what, they'll be back in a month or two and they'll post their portfolio and they've lost it all because sooner or later it's going to happen. The only people that really win at that kind of thing are those that win big once and they have the epiphany to get out and take what they've got and quit doing it, which is not too many. And the second half of that phrase, living fully, that's about more than just financial success. It's about having the time and the mental space to enjoy the things that matter most to you, whether that's spending time with family, is pursuing hobbies, simply just taking care of your well-being. These are choices that you have the flexibility to make in your life because you've structured your life in a way that you're doing it now. You're not waiting for someday to live fully when you get enough money or something like that. It's about an active pursuit of that every day. It's the journey, so to speak. It really is the day-to-day journey. So by trading wisely, you can help to create a stream of income that supports your lifestyle without consuming all your time and energy. But like I said, the balance is key to a fulfilling life. That is trading wisely and also living fully. For me, options trading has been a significant part to achieve this balance. It allows me to stay engaged in the markets and actively manage my portfolio while still having the freedom to really enjoy my life. I can plan my trades around my schedule. I can use strategies that align with my goals, and then I can rest easy knowing that I've managed my risk effectively. I can take a vacation and literally not stress about what my trade is doing. So for me, it's not just about making money. It's about creating a life where I can both thrive financially and personally. Thanks for sticking with me through this video. I hope it's given you some valuable insights in how options trading can potentially help you to achieve a better work-life balance. So in the next video, we'll dive deeper into some strategies that you can begin to use right away. Thank you so much for watching this video. And remember, trade wisely, live fully, and I'll see you next time.